with another episode of the Burgundy Boss podcast. And today we're looking at Dallas versus Washington, Sunday Night Football, prime time, bright lights. Here we go. And to kick this one off, I'm going to tell you everything on every radar, wherever you look, says that we are going to get our tails whipped tonight. I mean, they beat us just a couple weeks ago, right there before we had Philly at home, and got our tails whipped by Philly. So, I mean, statistically and momentum-wise, everything says that we are going to lose this week. Now, I'm not a Debbie Downer or anything, but it's hard to disagree with that. The way we've been playing lately, the number of injuries we've got, all the COVID stuff that we've been having going on, and nothing is looking good for us right now. You know, a lot of people are back on the, hey, let's look at quarterbacks again. Let's see who's going to be available in the draft, and let's see where we're picking, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I'm going to start looking at draft stuff, and let's see who free agents are that I like. That's what it is right now, and that's where people are. And there is very little momentum on our side right now. We had that big 4-game win streak, and then we turned around and we lost. We've lost 2 in a row now. Ron's trying to keep everybody in it with the bringing the benches and wearing the all white unis. The all white unis, they were cool the first couple of times. It was a thing last year against Pittsburgh, right? And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, Ron, we get it. Like, you like the all whites. It was nice of you to bring the all whites back, but this thought that we are unbeatable in all white uniforms needs to be nipped in the bud, because that is not the case at all. And with that being said, let's hop into the injury report. Let's see who's going to be there. Let's see who's not going to be there. And let's see who might be there. We look on over at the injury report, and we've got Landon Collins is the first guy. He's out. He's not playing. That foot injury is going to keep him out of this one. Antonio Gibson is one of only 2 guys that we have on our injury report that may play. And I really hope we can have him. He's a very, key part of what we do week in, week out. And, during that win streak, it was all him. He was the bell cow. He was getting 25, carries a game, and we were riding him. Next on the list is William Jackson III. William Jackson III is out tonight with that same calf injury that he's been dealing with. He didn't practice all week, and, well, he's not playing. Same thing for this next guy, Daniel Wise. He's not playing either. He didn't practice all week, not playing. Then we go to Jamin Davis. Jamin Davis was dealing with a shoulder injury / personal reasons. So I don't know what the personal reasons were. If anybody knows what was going on with Jamin, go ahead and comment below and let me know. But I didn't know. I thought it was just the shoulder. And then I seen that personal reason was on there too. So somebody key me in on that one. But Jamin looks like he's going to play tonight. And he's going to be needed, because we're not going to have Cole Holcomb. Cole Holcomb's on the COVID list. So we're going to need a big night out of Jamin tonight if we even want to stand a chance. After him is Curtis Samuel, who is the other questionable character. Curtis Samuel, I don't even know what to say about Curtis Samuel no more. I'm hearing a lot of Paul Richardson vibes from him. A lot of the number 10 jersey is cursed in Washington vibes. And it's just, I'm starting to agree. Like, I haven't seen anything out of Curtis Samuel in burgundy and gold to make me think otherwise. The man has all the talent in the world. He tore us to pieces last year when we played Carolina. And I think Ron was like, hey, I got to have that. I got to have that in D.C. because we don't have anything outside of Terry McLaurin. Next on the list is James Smith-Williams. If you recall, he was cleared last week to play. but he was one of those guys that got cleared kind of at the last second, and he was a healthy scratch. And Ron said that he didn't have any conditioning all week, and he wanted to hold him back because he has asthma, and he didn't want to test it. He wanted to flare up during the game. So he didn't play last week. He was limited on Monday, with a illness, quote unquote, which is never good when you see that on the injury report, especially with all the COVID problems that we've had here recently. But he was limited, and then Thursday and Friday he was full, so he's good to go. Adam Humphries, which I didn't know Adam Humphries had a rib injury, but he does. He has a rib injury, and it looks like he's going to be able to go, though. He was full on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so maybe it was just a little something from the Eagles game. He got knocked around a little bit in that game. So we're hoping that, no big deal with him, and he's going to be able to come in and give us those key catches that we see him always make on third down. And so the last one I kind of want to talk about, I made a couple of tweets about it, and actually one of my tweets was even used in an article. I don't even remember the name of the people that used it, but it's DeShazer Everett, and he's not playing tonight, and for obvious reasons. If you've heard anything about this story, and it's kind of crazy. Now, I live in Kansas City, so I really haven't heard a lot about it, and I don't know the area very well there in D.C. I haven't been in D.C. since my military days, but DeShazer Everett is out for personal reasons. He was involved in a fatal car accident. I had heard that it was a woman that was riding in his vehicle, and she ended up passing away from the wreck that they were involved in. I was told that he did have serious injuries, but they weren't life-threatening injuries. So, I hope DeShazer gets a speedy recovery. But when you're driving a vehicle and somebody dies, it's probably not along the same lines as Henry Ruggs, but I mean, it's in the same boat because someone died while you were driving the vehicle and got in an accident. It's never good. And all things right now, at least from my perspective, make me believe that he is not going to be playing for, anytime soon, and he's probably done. And it's unfortunate to say, one of DeShazer's biggest moments that I can remember as a fan was the special teams hit on Darren Sproles that he had on a punt. And Eagles fans, man, Eagles fans were madder than hell because they wanted flags. They thought it was, a bad hit, a dirty hit, I thought it was clean. DeShazer's a headhunter. That's the kind of player that DeShazer is. Like, if he's out there on the field, he's going to be out there trying to take your head off. Point blank, period. He's one of those safeties that plays like a linebacker. Not the best coverage. We saw that earlier in the year when he came in for one play for Landon, and next thing you know, it's touchdown. So, anyways, that's it for Washington side of the injury report. We flip it on over to the Dallas side. And an interesting one is Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith is going to miss this game. He was a DNP all week, and he is out for this one. Ankle injury. Zeke is still nursing that knee. He's going to play. Tony Pollard, which we didn't see the first time around, he's going to play. DeMarcus Lawrence is nursing a foot injury. He was limited all week, but he's going to play. Corey Clement, has that toe that he's been dealing with. He was limited on Wednesday, but then he's been full the rest of the week. And some backups. But Dallas looks pretty healthy going into this one. And, a lot of fans, I've heard fans say that, Dallas might just lay down because they don't have anything to play for, blah, blah, blah. They've locked in their playoffs. Well, actually, that's not true. Because now Dallas says they want the number one seed, and Dallas is going to be fighting us tooth and nail for that number one seed. And to be quite honest with you, I'm pretty sure that even if that wasn't the case, that Dallas being Dallas and Jerry Jones being the petty bastard that he is, would still be like, hey, I want to keep these boys out of the playoffs. This is Washington. There is still a rivalry here. I mean, it goes, all the way to the top to Dan Snyder versus Jerry Jones. It's Ron Rivera versus Mike McCarthy. It's, there's so many miniature storylines in this game that don't get talked enough about. And for these two teams to have the same rivalry that they've had for as long as I can remember is great for the NFL, actually. Old school rivalries on the NFL level are super good money for the NFL. So that's your injury report. I want to talk about some key matchups that we have in this one. Washington comes in 6-8. Dallas comes in 10-4. And I mean, like I said, Dallas wants that number 1 seed, and they're not gonna lay down for us. I really hope that we somehow pull this off, because the Vikings lost today. Philly won, so Philly is going to be a game ahead. But if we win tonight, we have a chance to go to Philly next week and pass Philly for that playoff spot, that 7 seed. Because the 5 seed is pretty much locked up. It's going to be Cardinals, Rams, whoever doesn't win the West. And then that next seed, I'm pretty sure that the Niners just about, they're going to lock that up soon too. So then it'll be down to that 7th spot, and it's going to be New Orleans, Washington, Philly, and Minnesota. So Minnesota lost today. If Washington wins tonight, we tie Minnesota. We have a better conference record, so we would jump them. And then, just lost my train of thought. And then we go to Philly next week. If we can beat Philly next week, with everything that's happened, even though we tied head-to-head, we would have a better conference record than them. And we jump them, and unless New Orleans does some miraculous stuff, which I doubt, but unless they do some miraculous stuff, we'll be sitting in the 7th seed again. And then we'll go to the Giants, who just got blown out by Philly. I believe it was 34. Late in the 4th, it was like 34-3. And then they got a garbage time touchdown to make it 34-10. So, I mean, they blew. I don't know what's wrong with the Giants, to be honest with you. A lot of Giants fans were talking crap on Washington going into this year, saying how, like, if we would have played head-to-head at Week 17 last year, that they would have won the division. And, well, that was your own fault. You guys didn't take care of business. Philly gave us the game, gave us a division title. So it is what it is. We won it. There's a large part of the fan group that thinks that, well, that division title held Washington back. Washington should not have won it. We could have had Micah Parsons or somebody like that versus Jamin Davis. That's a hot topic between the Washington community, and I disagree. I love Jamin Davis. He's got size, he's got athleticism, he's got speed. He's still a young player, and he's young to the linebacker position. He did not get a lot of reps at linebacker in college. So, with that being said, let's get into our predictions for this game, right? Okay. Predictions. Some of you may be mad at me, but I don't know, because I do have some Cowboy fans that watch this, so maybe y'all be happy. I have Dallas winning this one 27-17 and dashing all Washington playoff hopes that they had. Unless roles are reversed, unless Jamin Davis has a Micah Parsons type night and Micah Parsons disappears off the face of the earth like Jamin Davis did in Washington when Dallas came, and unless Terry can eat alive Trayvon Diggs instead of Trayvon Diggs shutting down Terry, unless any of that can happen, this is going to be a rout. Like, this is going to be a non-contest. It's not going to be good, guys. It's not. And, there's a group of the fans that aren't going to be happy with me because of that. But, I mean, I don't know what you guys want from me. Like, this is a Washington team that needs a quarterback. And there's a large group of the fan base that is in love with Taylor Heineke, and I was one of the fans that prior to the stretch run was like, man, it might be time to start looking at QBs for the draft. We might need to do that. And all of a sudden we turned it around. Guys, we were 2-6 at the time, guys. I mean, 2-6, it's not looking good. You just came off of this hailstorm of games that were impossible to win. All the quarterbacks we faced in that 4-game stretch, the offenses, they're all top tier in the NFL right now. So it looks better now. And then we went on that 4-game tear, and it was like, okay, well, now we've got something. We were close to 500. We got back to 500. And then we got to our division games, and I was super optimistic coming into these division games. And I was like, oh, we can just sweep the division and we'll end up winning this division. Well, Dallas had other plans. They came into our house and said, we're taking this MFR over. We're gonna 70-30 your stadium. We're gonna bring our benches. We're gonna smack you in the mouth. We're gonna knock your teeth out. And then you're gonna have to come play us at our house, and that's what's happening tonight. We're going to Jerry World in the Superdome, not Superdome, but Jerry's Superdome, and we're gonna play them. But I'm not optimistic about this game tonight. Maybe I'm hoping I'm wrong. For our playoff hopes, for the division hopes, for my Twitter feed hopes, because there's entirely too many Dallas fans that follow me. But we've got to play superhuman ball tonight in order to have a chance. So with that being said, let's talk about keys to the game. For Dallas, keys to the game. With no William Jackson, it's to use your weapons, Dak. Try not to rely so much on the run, because Washington is a pretty good run defense, aside from what they showed against Philly, aside from what they showed against Dallas the first time. That, we're pretty good against the run, so you're going to have to beat us passing. Well, trust and believe they have the weapons and the ability and the quarterback to do it. And even Tony Pollard can expose you running the football. I know Washington fans, don't really know how good Tony Pollard is this year, but the man's playing lights out football right now. He's caught several large touchdowns on swing passes and on screens, and he's the one we should be scared of. Zeke doesn't scare me. If it's a 3rd and 1 that decides this football game and they hand it to Zeke and Zeke gets it, so be it, because Zeke doesn't scare me anymore. We've never had a Zeke problem. Our problem has always been Dak. He's always killed us with his legs, and, Dak is still feeling that injury. I can see it in his play. He's been struggling these last few weeks, and I think it's in his large part to his inability to run the football. I mean, to break the pocket and to scramble for 10 or 15 yards whenever he needs it. He has pretty much become Big Ben. Ouch. But I mean, he can still kill you with his arm. Same thing with Big Ben. He can still kill you with his arm. But he's probably not going to win you the game. He's probably going to be one of the things that you need to cover up in order to win the game. You have to overcome that. So, defensively for Dallas, I mean, there's not a lot going on with Washington offensively. We're still on like our fourth center. We're still on, we got Terry and a bunch of dudes. Like, there's not a lot for us to have on offense. I want to talk about a couple of underrated Cowboys real quick. Offensively, for the Dallas Cowboys, a guy that does not get enough credit is Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz needs to be talked about in the same category as Zach Ertz and Philly. Who's your tight end? Dang it, he's got a funny name too. Just paid him. Oh, man, this is gonna bug the dog crap out of me. Are you kidding me? Dallas Goedert. Oh my gosh, it just hit me. Dallas Goedert. So he needs to be there with Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz in the same category. Dalton Schultz, he's one of these Stanford tight ends. Everybody talks about Stanford tight ends. They're smart. Tight end is one of the hardest positions to transfer from college to the pros and be successful. But he is the one that you've got to worry about offensively for Dallas. Defensively, this is probably going to shock some Dallas fans that I'm going to say this. And, you know about Randy Gregory and Tank Lawrence, and you even know about Micah Parsons moving around all over the place. You know about the Wolf Hunter, Leighton Vander Esch, which he's kind of had a down year, but he's still a very good linebacker. And, of course, everybody's heard so much about Trayvon Diggs and how great he is. You've heard about the free agents on the back end they've got in DeMonte KZ and Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker's back there too. He's having a good year. The guy up front you hear about is Neville Gallimore. How, Canadian American, University of Oklahoma, was thought of more as a run stuffer coming out. He is now, he's playing like one of the best interior defensive linemen in the NFL right now. But the guy who doesn't get a lot of sacks, but generates a lot of pressure and doesn't get talked about nearly enough is Dallas rookie defensive tackle, who's kind of a hybrid out of the University of California, University of California, Los Angeles, Osa Odigizua. This guy, he's a hybrid. He's 6'2", 280 pounds. So being 6'2", he gets underneath most linemen pretty easily. He gets that lower center of gravity. And then he is 280 pounds. So he's in between a defensive end and a defensive tackle. He doesn't really, fit the mold of what you would want in either one of those positions. He only has 2 sacks on the year and 11 solo tackles. But he's been generating a lot of pressure this year. So his best game, actually, ironically, let me see. His best game was his first game against the Eagles. He had 1.5 sacks and 2 solo tackles. That was his best game. That was week 3. But, he had two solo tackles against Washington last time. And I remember just seeing him flash on the screen whenever I was watching the game. I was like, who is 97? Looked over there. He had that crazy last name, Oso Digizua. All right, I see you. Now let's talk about some sleepers for the Washington football team. And I've talked about a couple of these guys before, so you kind of know who they are. But offensively for Washington, I'm still going to say John Bates. He is the best blocking tight end that we have on our roster. He is an underrated catcher of the football. He does it at a very surprising rate. He's not going to burn anybody over the top. He's a 265-pound man, but he still can catch it very well. He can catch and run very well. And if Washington wants anything to do with winning this game tonight, it's going to be up to him. Now, defensively for Washington, man, there's a lot of injuries. And a lot of these guys, the big four up front, which is without Chase Young. Montez Sweat could have a big game tonight, but he's not who I'm looking at as a sleeper. It's going to be the corner that steps in for William Jackson. And you might know him, Darryl Roberts. Free agent acquisition, was thought more of as a nickelback, has been playing really good football, even on the outside. And it's going to be up to Jack Del Rio tonight to scheme up some stuff to kind of protect him a little bit. And, what you get out of him tonight, it might surprise you. I don't remember if Washington is getting Cam Curl back tonight, but if they do get Cam Curl back tonight, that will be a huge get back for them, because you saw last week what Philly was able to do with Cam Curl out and just go to the tight end. For the longest time, tight end was a big problem for Washington. And all of a sudden, it was solved. Like, Washington wasn't really getting killed by tight ends anymore. And there you go. Like, Cam Curl is, and you got all these players coming out. Cam Curl's a top 5 safety in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. He's playing like it. He is, one of, if not one of the better safeties in football. Now, he's not the Justin Simmons type, or the Jesse Bates, where he's going to play center field and you're not going to be able to throw it deep over the middle, or you're going to have to go deep sidelines to be able to beat him. But he's more of a box guy. He plays that linebacker, that Buffalo nickel that Ron Rivera throws around a lot. He's going to, play, that robber coverage that they like to talk about a lot. So, but that's going to do it for me. If Washington wins, it'll be 21-17, and it'll be because they shut everything down. But more than likely, it's not going to go well. I still say that Washington loses 27-17. Until next time, we'll be hopping on a little bit later to talk about what happened in this game. We'll do our recap. It'll be part of my live I do on the YouTube channel tonight, because I do the Sunday night primetime recap. So we'll be talking about them there. I'll also do a proper recap, probably Monday or Tuesday, and we will talk about that then. But, like the video, comment below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit me up on Twitter. Till next time, it's Burgundy Boss, out.